Ciao, Bella! Juventus try to do the unthinkable and defend their title with a new manager in charge. Can they do it? We'll talk about it next. Today we're taking a look at matchday number 1 out in the 2020-2021 Serie A season, and we'll get to that in just 1 second. If you're new to the channel, smash your subscribe button and keep you bang up to date with all things Blackburn Rovers related, Serie A related, World Football related. We're going to all here under one roofski, boys and girls. Yeah. So of course we're kicking off a brand new season over in Italia. Now before we jump in the deep end, take a little look at all that. I want a big shout out to the Patreons, boys and girls. Whoop, 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 whoop. We got 2 new ones to round it up to 19. We are still looking for number 20. And if you're interested in becoming that number 20, we'll tell you how to do that in just a second. But before then, big shout out to Olaji Ojo. Woo, woo, woo. Olaji Ojo. He's in there, number 19. Respect to you, sir. Thank you very, very much for becoming a patron. Of course, Omar Escavil also in there as well. He made number 18 to put them those geezers together to make a nice little team, nice little unit. Now, of course, that joins in Dylan Goddard, Tom Clark, William Shepherd, Daniel Mellor, Ultra Omamura, Chris Wilson, Elgin Cow, Bianca Muller, John Sperm, Russell Frost, Nathan Eva, Jack Wiggins, Jack Holmes, Constable 976, Aztec Mark B. Mark, Cody Go, Yoga Hansen, and of course Olaji Ojo, and of course Omar Escavil. That makes number 19, boys and girls, patrons to the gang. So respect to those guys. Do appreciate the love. And if anyone else is out there thinking, this guy's office rocker, he's absolutely nut job. Well, there is a link down below to support this nut job, patreon.com/Roverseas. Get involved with the channel to help us push this forward into another level, boys and girls. You can be a part about it. Anyway, let's jump into the deep end, of course. Serie A, baby. Serie A, it's back, baby. Of course, Juventus are El Champions once again. But sorry, ball wasn't good enough. It was not good enough. But despite being champion, you're fired, mate. Get the out of here. We have got matey boy coming in. Not Conte. What's his chops? Pirlo pulling the strings these days. Anyway, let's take a look at, of course, remind ourselves of who is in the division. Here it is. Fiorentina are in there alongside Torino, Halas Verona, Roma, of course. Good season last time around. Parma, Napoli, Genoa, Crotone coming in from Serie B alongside Celsulo, Calcio, Cagliari as well. Juventus El Champion, Sampdoria. My boys, hopefully they'll have a good season. AC Milan, my tip for the top. What was I thinking that day? Anyway, Bologna, Benevento, Calcio as well. They also coming into the division as well. Inter Milan, of course, just shy last time around, just missed out. And Conte does remain. Lazio, Atalanta, Udinese and Spezia. Calcio at the bottom there. First time in the top flight, I think. Anyway, boys and girls, let's get into it and take a look at the teams. But before that, I want to tell you that this is part of the old prediction league, or part of its own prediction league. So get in the old description or get in the old comments, put in your predictions for this match number 1. Piece of piss, get them in there, and you could be the prediction king of Italia. And yeah, ciao bella, eh? That's all right. You could. You got to win it though. But you got to beat this guy. And hopefully some other guys along the way. Anyway, here are your first round of matches. So we're going to kick it all off with Fiorentina, boys and girls. Fiorentina managed by these days. Who are you managed by? You're actually managed by Giuseppe Ianchini these days. And they're going to be taking on Torino. Torino currently managed by, off the top of my head, Marco Campiolo these days. Now, these two sides, of course, they played each other a fair few times over the course of time. 146 times to be exact. 48 victories for Fiorentina, 49 victories for Torino, and 49 draws. The last 6, though, between these two sides sees 3 wins for Fiorentina, 1 win for Torino, and 2 draws. Torino had a nightmare season last time around. Last time played each other was back in July. In lockdown, it was a 2-win win for Fiorentina. Lankengo with a big fat OG, and Patrick Crotone on score sheet for Fiorentina. Heading into this, Torino have actually failed to win the last 10 away matches as well. And it'll be a long order for them to get themselves back to winning ways as well on match day number 1. Fiorentina are the favourites, 2017 on 13-5 as your draw, 3-1 as your away win, taking place on Saturday, September the 19th. Of course, last time around, Fiorentina finished a respectable 10th spot. Meanwhile, Torino just hanging on in 16th spot. But can things turn around these days for Torino? It's going to be wobbly, but I don't expect an opening day victory for them. I do expect a victory for Fiorentina in the end on this one. Next up, we have Halas Verona. These days, currently managed by Ivan Juricic. They're going to be taking on Roma these days, and they are currently managed by Paulo Fonseca, of course. Heading into this, of course, these two sides have played each other a bunch of times, of course, according to time, 62 times, according to my reckoning. 9 victories for Verona, 33 victories for Roma, and 20 draws. The last 6, though, sees 0 wins for Verona, 2 draws, and 4 wins for Roma, including a win last time around when they played each other in lockdown in Roma as well. It was a 2-1 win for Roma in Rome. Jordan Vertruit on the score sheet. Edin Dzeko as well with the winner on the 45th minute. Matteo Passina and this goal sandwiched in between the two Roma goals. Last time they played each other in Verona was a 3-1 win for Roma as well. So 4 wins on the spin for Roma against Verona. Heading into this, Roma have actually scored at least 2 goals in the last 8 matches. And also the favourites with the bookies on this bad boy. 21-10 for Verona. 6-5 is your Roma odds. And 5-2 is your away win. Of course, heading into this, Verona had a quality season in 9th spot. Of course, get themselves promoted from Serie B last time around, finishing in the top half. Ain't too shabby. Roma just missing out on the old Champions League. When I say missing out, a good 8 points adrift in the end. But despite all that, Halas Verona, they'll lose this one. 2-0 win in the end for Roma. Opening day victory. Next up, we have Parma. They're going to be taking on Napoli. Of course, I'm still unconvinced about Napoli. But anyway, Parma managed by Fabio Levrani these days. Of course, Gattuso pulling the strings these days for Napoli. Now, these two sides played each other 38 times. 15 victories for Parma. 16 wins for Napoli and 7 draws. The last 6, though, or last 4, should I say. 2 wins for Parma, 2 wins for Napoli, and 0 draws. Last time they played each other was in Parma. Back in lockdown as well. It was a 2-1 win for Parma. Lorenzo Insigne getting the 1-0 goal for Napoli from the penalty spot with Gianluca Capriari and Dejan Kulievski on the score sheet as well. All from penalties. 3 penalties in that game, all converted at least. Parma actually heading into this conceded at least 2 goals in 9 of the last 11 matches as well. The last time they played each other in Napoli was a 2-1 win going as well for Parma. So back-to-back wins for Parma heading into this as well. Bookies odds, I'll tell you in just a second. Parma finishing last season in 11th. Napoli finishing in 7th after a wobbly start to the season. Bookies odds on this one, 50-4 for Parma, 3-1 is your draws, 30-10, 30-20. In fact, 20-13, Napoli are red-hot favourites for this bad boy with Gattuso in charge. Again, I've got my reservations about Gattuso on this one, but I do think they're going to open up with an account. A win, 2-0 win away from home. Napoli to kickstart their season. Next up, we have Genoa. Do you know what I mean? Taking on Crotone, of course. Genoa managed by, these days, Roland Maran, whereas Crotone, they're actually managed by Giovanni Stroppa these days. So, yeah, he's been there last season, pulling the strings these days. Genoa, of course, relegation fodder last time around. Anyway, these two sides played each other 13 times over the course of time. 7 wins for Genoa, 1 win for Crotone, and 5 draws. The last 6, though, going back a little bit, a couple of seasons at least. In fact, Crotone were in the top flight not too long ago. Anyway, Genoa won winners last round in Genoa. It was way back in 2018 with Daniel Bessa on the score sheet for Genoa on the 28th minute. Last time they played each other in Crotone was also a 1-0 win for Genoa. So, yeah, 5 wins out of the past 6 for Genoa over Crotone. The bookmakers' odds will probably go with Genoa on this one. 11-10 on for Genoa. Red hot favourites. 30-5 is your 11-4 is your away win. Of course, Crotone coming in there. Lastminute.com promoted from Secondo Division, or the Serie B, should I say, whereas Genoa hanging on in there. 17th spot last round. I think they'll struggle this year as well. I'm going to give it a 1-1 draw, so I think Crotone will be happy with that. Genoa will see that as 2 points dropped. Next up, we have Celsulo taking on Cagliari. Celsulo, a difficult side to beat, of course, finishing 8th last time around, managed by these days Carlo Rossi. Scrap that, managed by Roberto Di Zebri these days. Cagliari, though, on the flip side, they're actually managed by Eusebio Di Francesco. That's right. Get them our facts right, boys. Get my facts right. Anyway, these two sides have played each other a whopping 13 times. 3 victories for Celsulo, 3 victories for Cagliari, and 7 draws. The last 6, though, sees 2 wins for Celsulo, nothing for Cagliari, and 4 draws as well, including back-to-back draws last time around, including the one in last match, which was in Cagliari back in July. It was a 1-1 draw. Goals from João Pedro for Cagliari and Francesco Caputo on the score sheet for Sassuolo. Andrea Cabbioni getting himself sent off. Meanwhile, last time they played each other in Sassuolo was a 2-2 draw back in December 2019. Domenico Berardi, Philip Ducic on the score sheet for Sassuolo. João Pedro on the score sheet once again. Daniel Ragatutu on the score sheet for Cagliari. Heading into this, Cagliari actually lost their last 3 away matches. They also conceded at least 2 goals in the last 3 away matches as well. The bookmakers' odds. Even Stevens for Sassuolo for the victory. 30-5 is your draw. 5-2 is your away win. Of course, heading into this, Sassuolo did finishing in 8th. Cagliari last season finished. They started off very, very well, but ended up in 14th. Well, around about where they should expect themselves to be. But I do expect another wobbly start for them. Sassuolo, though, to kick on with a 2-0 win in the end. Next that week, of course, we have the Champions, Juventus, taking on Sampdoria. Of course, Juventus managed by legend these days, Andrea Pirlo, coming in, take over from Sarri Ball. Sampdoria still managed by the nicest man in football, Claudio Ranieri. Cagliari, that's right, pulling the strings these days. Anyway, these two sides played each other 127 times, 67 victories, 64 victories, sorry, for Juventus, 26 victories for Sampdoria, and 37 wins, draws as well. Last 6, though, 4 wins for Juventus, 2 wins for Sampdoria, and no draws. The last time they played each other was in Turin. It was a 2-0 win for Juventus. Ronaldo and Berardeschi on the score sheet for Juve. Walton Thorsby got himself sent off for Sampdoria. Last time they played each other in Sampdoria was also a 2-1 win for Juve. Heading into this, the bookmakers' odds on this son of a bitch taking place on Sunday, the September the 20th. There's a 4-1 on for Juventus red hot favourites. 5-1 is draw, 9-1 is your away win. Of course, Juventus coming out on top just by 1 point though. Internazionale. In the end, that's what got the board pissed. In the end, that's the pressure on Pirlo these days. Not only has he got to win the title, he's got to win it in style. Otherwise, you're going to sack a legend. You're going to sack a legend in the end. Meanwhile, Sampdoria finishing in the 15th spot. Nicest man of football needs to get his act together and get themselves boys up the table. So I'm going to go with a 3-0 win for Juventus on this one. Should be plain on sailing, especially with the boys that they have at the moment. And next up we have AC Milan. Of course, not managed by Matey Boy, whoever I said on the old my main video, but actually managed by Stefano Poli. He's pulling the strings these days, taking on Bologna this time around, who are currently managed by Sinja Milagovic. And these two sides have played each other 148 times, 69 wins for AC Milan, 38 wins for Bologna, and 41 draws. The last 6 though sees 5 wins for Milan, nothing for Bologna, and 1 draw. The last time they played each other was in Milan, and it was a 5-1 win. Goodness gracious me, Salamakis on the score sheet, Kangologu as well, Benekakir, Rebic, and Calibera with Takiero Tomiyasu on the score sheet for Bologna. The last time in Bologna was also a 5-goal Bobby Dazzler going in favour of AC Milan. Heading into this though, Milan have actually scored at least 2 goals in 11 of the last 12 matches as well. They're also undefeated in the last 12 matches in the division. They've also, Bologna have actually lost their last 3 as well. Bookmakers odds, 7-4 on for AC Milan, 3-1 is your draw, 9-2 is your away win. On this battle call, AC Milan finishing in 6th spot. They were wobbly, but they managed to turn shit around and get themselves up towards the European spots, into the European spots as well. Meanwhile, their opposition, Bologna, finishing in a respectable 12th spot, 47 points on the board last time around. But for me, I'm going to go with AC Milan. I've tipped them to go for the title. How mad am I? But I still think they'll take some beating this time around. Hopefully, they'll be in the discussion at the very least. Anyway, that's my predictions for this time around. The other games will not take place. They'll take place on the back end of September. But just for giggles, I'll have the predictions in there nice and early for you. That, my friends, is all I've got for you. Hopefully, you enjoyed the video. In fact, before I go, just to show you what the table will look like, if I'm bang on the nose, including those hokey dokey predictions that don't really count. It will be Juventus leading the line. Roma will be in second. Napoli, Inter, and Celsulo, with AC Milan making up the power 6. Down the bottom will be Sampdoria, Benevento, Calcio, Bologna, and Cagliari looking over their shoulders in the old relegation dogfight already as it stands. But it's only match day 1, folks. Don't read too much into it. Do not read too much into it, Sampdoria. You will get yourselves out of it. Anyway, be sure to get your predictions in nice and early for, of course, the Prediction League, boys and girls. Prediction League, and try not to change them once the games kick off on Saturday or whenever it is, because that does make it a little bit extra hard work for me. I try to start doing the mathematics on the first games and start working it all out. So try not to go double dipping and editing it, especially after the kickoffs have taken place, because it does add extra work, and it's not fun. Yeah, I tell you now, I'm regretting this prediction league because it's hard pissing work. Anyway, my friends, that's all I've got for you. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, smash that thumbs up. But if you are new, bang the old subscribe button with all things Serie A related, Babylon's related, woof, we're going to all here on Don't Want Roof. And of course, if you want to go that extra punch and become a patron of the channel, check out the description down below, patreon.com/Roverseas. You can support the channel in another way for the price of a cheap cup of instant coffee. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And of course, you can also follow me on Twitter and Facebook, boys. Who do you think's going to come out on top out in Serie A? Are you with me with AC Milan, or are you going to stick with the easy peasy ones with Juventus or Internazionale? I'm going with AC Milan, even though I love Sampdoria. But until then, I'll see you all very, very soon. Stay safe out there. I'll see you again very, very soon. Ciao, Ben.